When applying for and taking out a mortgage, you will be asked for documentation. So I'm going to go into the why of it, the kind of zooming out and looking at the bigger picture. Documentation is broken into 3 milestones based on timing and where you're at in the home buying process. The first milestone is pre-approval, and there are a list of conditions that are needed in order for a lender to issue you a pre-approval letter. Those conditions are going to allow us to figure out how much we can use for documentable income. We're going to be looking at your assets and how much you have in the bank. We're going to be looking at your credit and determining how much you can purchase and where the money's going to come from to make that purchase possible. That's what's needed for the pre-approval. Now, once you're under contract, we're going to go on to that next milestone of conditions, and that is what's needed to update any documents that might have expired in that time frame, so potentially updated pay stubs or bank statements. And then that's when we add all of the conditions that pertain to the property. So the insurance, title, appraisal, everything that we can get now that there's a property that we couldn't get before a property was identified. And those are the conditions that are needed to send your documents to escrow. They're called prior to doc conditions. The last milestone and category is prior to funding. These are conditions that weren't required to get the docs out, but they are required to fund the loan. These include typically updated verification of your employment, updated documentation around that all the money has moved the way that we expect it to throughout the transaction, and any other conditions that the underwriter might have asked for in the process to clarify your situation. So those are the 3 milestones. Within each of those milestones, the conditions can be looked at from 2 perspectives. Some of them are checking a box. We need that piece of paper because the underwriter has a box on a checklist saying that's needed, and whether it makes sense or whether you think it's important, we need it because they need to check that box. The other kind of condition are clarifying conditions. This is when we ask you for a letter of explanation, helping us understand maybe a employment change or a move or something in your history to help us understand why and how you're buying this house. So these conditions have these 2 basic categories, and if you're feeling like, oh my God, why is this needed? That can be a helpful framework to look at it through, and you can talk to your loan officer about, is this just checking a box or is this a clarifying condition? I hope that helps in zooming out and looking at conditions. Reach out with any questions. Ciao.